Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome back to the free-to-play review. So today's topic is going to be the latest iteration of the summon pool, specifically the supporters summon pool. And yes, this is the one that is featuring Odin Faefather as the headline champion, as a 1.5% chance to get him if you happen to get a legendary. The Asgard Divide event is coming to a close within the next 2 weeks or so. So after it ends, then Odin Faefather will officially be added to the champion pool, specifically the Void pool, of course. But until then, the only way that people have gotten this champion is from some sort of special event such as this one. But honestly, he's not the only one to note from the selection of legendaries. You have Pytheon, a previous fusion, really amazing support, healer, cleanser, reviver. Mighty Uko, really powerful in Hydra, but also very popular in like stone skin or stun sets in the arena. Again, a previous fusion. Eos the Dream Song, one of the most underrated fusions of the year that turned out to be an absolute Hydra monster. Also previous fusion. Elva Autumnborn, former guaranteed champion. Armand's the Magnificent, the menace of the arena, basically defining the arena meta in terms of speed teams right now, and also a former fusion. I guess I should have mentioned that Elva Autumnborn is also a healer, cleanser, reviver type, similar to Pytheon, but it's a single target revive. Grand Oak Padraig, one of the most powerful ally attackers in the entire game, specifically for Hard Run Fire Knight, but just in general, a really solid support all around with the healing, the restoring destroyed max HP, the ally attack, of course, and then he resets the can reset the cooldown of abilities on the A1. Conjure the Right is a pretty cool support. She's kind of like a mini cleanser. Without her companion champion Tim at the full, she only removes 2 random debuffs and fills some turn meter, but she also has a revive in her kit, as well as a speed aura. I recently did a champion showcase for Conjure the Right. If you want to check that out on the channel, it's going to be linked in the card up above, but I did showcase her in a couple of arena settings in which I employ her services. And then we have Nekmothar, still a Hydra beast with a decreased attack on the A1, increased turn meter with an extra turn, increased speed, and the decreased speed and the leech. As far as comparison to previous iterations of the summon pool, it is worth noting that the headline champion in this case is 1.5% compared to 2%, which is the precedent, I would say, for the previous iterations of this, and 4.5% for the rest of the legendaries. So you are more likely than usual to get from the larger pool of legendaries, but overall, in terms of the legendaries in the pool, you're most likely to get the headline champion compared to the rest of them. That's just how the odds shake out. And then for the epics, we also have a pretty good selection of epics here. We're not going to go through every single one, but Skytouch Shaman, pretty nice, good cleanser. Aox is popular, Iron Twins. Mordecai, AoE HP burn. You have Crowden, S tier for hard mode. Fire Knight with the freeze mechanics. Venomage, very powerful for like Nether Spider and Amius. Ugo, obviously the Hydra goddess, but in the Odin dungeon as well. Cornelia, pretty good AoE sleep, kind of like a mini Chimera type ability. Lady Booby Bell, it can be used to solo Bommel. We got Deke the Freak, one of the best epics in the game for decreased defense. Stag Knight, the second best, arguably, champion or epic in the game for decreased defense. And then, a couple of more supports here and there. So overall, honestly, this wouldn't be a bad selection of epics to get if you're just hoping to get 1 summon or 2 summons, depending on what you participate in when it comes to the events, which is a brilliant segue to the events. But I guess first we should mention the price here. It's going to be on the higher side of things, 40 fragments per summon, but there are going to be 3 events, at least 3 events featuring 1 free summon, meaning that each of them so far has been offering 40 fragments. 2 of them are already live, so we can go take a look at those in game already. One of which is probably the least accessible one for majority of the player base, but it is if you max out the Dungeon Divers event. So you get all the way out to 6,000 points, which is a substantial amount of energy. I think it's somewhere on the order of like 10,000 energy. Granted, you have 4 days to do it. So if that is something that is of interest to you, then you can most certainly grind that out, but that's probably not my recommendation if you're going to be spending energy. I would more so recommend that you participate in the Sand Devil Turn Attack Tournament. I believe this is somewhere around like 3,000 to 4,000 energy over the course of the next 3 days, which is a lot more reasonable for an average player to be able to compete, assuming you have a fairly robust Sand Devil team. But nonetheless, if you are pursuing or looking for 1 free summon, this is probably your best bet. Now, if you happen to have some soul stones waiting around and you didn't go for Freya, for example, like myself, there's also going to be some amount of fragments. I'm assuming it's 40, but this is technically unconfirmed, but I'm assuming it's going to be another free summon, another 40 fragments here from the Soul Chase tournament. There is also going to coincide with this the boosted rates on soul, so you have the increased chance of 5-star and 6-star souls from the Immortal Soul Stones, and then the increased chance of 6-star souls from the Immortal Soul Stones. So all in all, I think this is a fairly good deal. Obviously, you have a chance to get a pretty cool new Void Legendary who's not yet in the pool, but if you hit any of the other legendaries, you're probably in good hands. You might get a duplicate for a fusion if you happen to do the fusion, or if you played more recently or you skipped the fusion and you couldn't do them, then you might just get a pretty S tier, or maybe A tier, S tier to A tier tier support in my opinion. And then again, if you hit on the epics, more likely than not, you're going to get one that's fairly useful in some area of the game. In my particular case, I do have the benefit of having saved up my prism crystals from the last iteration of the summon pool. I was able to save these by letting the summoning pool end prior to the events and tournaments that held the fragments actually expire in terms of their claiming their rewards. So we were able to save those for this time, but unfortunately you can't do that more than once. So we're going to have to use them on this go. Obviously I only have 75, so I only have one summon, but I'm definitely going to be working on the Soul Chase tournament, because we can take a look quickly here at the Altar of Souls, but I have tons and tons of soul stones and I've been itching to pull. Hopefully we can get something good, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day, depending on how I'm feeling. But Mortal Soul Stones and Immortals, probably going to save the Eternals for something that's a little bit more bang for your buck, just because there's no boosted rates on Eternals. So we'll see what we can do with those. Hopefully we can get out to the free summon from the Soul Chase tournament, but that's basically where I'm going to stop. So assuming that is some amount of Prism Fragments, that will give us 2 free summons. I'm also going to wait to open the Prism Crystals or Prism Shards when the Champion Chase, presumably the Champion Chase, starts this Friday, just because we came off the Hero's Path, which did have a summon rush as part of it. So I'm predicting and expecting the next weekend, the following weekend, to be the Champion Chase tournament. Probably going to be 2x Primals if I had to wager a guess, but that is completely unconfirmed. It could also be 2x Sacreds or Ancients. It's kind of weird and wonky what the next one should be in the pattern, but my guess is that we're probably due. It's been a while since we have 2x Primals, so we'll see what that weekend has to come. But yeah, we'll be able to do our 2 summons on Friday, because in 4 days time on Friday there will still be a few hours before the event ends, and we can take advantage of getting some points in the Champion Chase. So what is my recommendation for you guys? You can definitely try to go for the Divers one, but I think if you're gonna spend your energy, it would be best spent in the Sand Devil Turn Attack tournament and pick up that free summon if you want to get it that way. And then if you happen to have some soul stones, I know a lot of people also skipped out on the Freya Deck of Fate, so you might have your soul stones still saved up, and this would be the best time to pull them, because you're gonna have to get the boosted rates on top of a Soul Chase tournament. So you'd be able to spend a reasonable amount of energy over the next couple of days and also use your soul stones to get good rates and also get another free summon for 2 shots at anyone in this particular pool. If I had my pick of the litter, I'd definitely choose Elva Autumnborn from this pool of the legendaries. I basically have everyone else except Grand Oak Padraig, but Elva Autumnborn would be an upgrade for my Nightmare Hydra team to replace Pythion, who has that slot, because we duplicate the roles of the cleanser with block debuffs. I'd probably run her in a protection set so those buffs are protected, but also she has the passive healing, which is helpful just to keep the team running, as well as the veil that goes on the person with the lowest HP, which can also protect them from the Head of Torment. So a couple of upgrades relative to Python would be useful on that team. So yeah, that is going to do it for the free-to-play review of the supporter summon pool. And honestly, I think this is a pretty decent offering overall. You have at least up to 3 potential free summons that you can earn by in-game activities, and you're choosing from a pretty stellar group of legendaries and a pretty decent group of epics as well if you happen to get relatively unlucky. Let me know in the comment section down below what your plan is surrounding the supporter summon pool. Did you also save your prism fragments from the previous one so that you're a good ways towards some of the free summons? And let me know which of the 3 events you are planning to pursue if you're going for more free summons. As always, if you did find this video helpful, then be sure to hit that like button down below. It really does help out the channel. We are actually on the road to 1,500 subscribers. I hope to hit that by the end of the year. So if you are enjoying the content on the channel, then feel free to also hit that subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching and have a good one.